Once upon a time, there was a young emperor who wasn't technically an emperor, but... Okay, so his name was Montague. His parents loved Shakespeare. There's a whole backstory there, though, you know, lack of time, attention span, TikToks to watch the important stuff. Anyways, back to it. Montague was always video conferencing for work. That boy appeared on screen more than a cat with a wonky eye and a cucumber aversion fetish. So, given the constant streaming, his username was very aptly Montezuma11, which I find very amusing. Almost as amusing as the fact that at least 11 other people chose that username. So, Montezuma, Emperor, you get the oeuvre we're going for here. Now, some people might scream cultural appropriation here. But the poor young guy was named Montague. He has had enough problems to deal with, and if you want problems, let's talk about his sister, Tamora. Those poor babies. Oh, I'm sorry, trigger warning. Those poor babies. Now, Monty loved filters and emojis and strange facial distortion things that are all beyond the scope of an ancient baby boomer like me. These days, I'm lucky if I make it to the toilet on time. Hit 50, and you don't need to be tech savvy to be a constant streamer. Hey, if you have a prostate, it'll happen to you eventually. And if you don't have a prostate, it'll happen to you eventually. Leakage, the great leveler of the genders. One fine day, Monty happened upon an app that promised to make him look far more attractive than he actually was whilst video conferencing. From a 4 to a score was the slogan they used. When I heard that, I wasn't sure if they meant soccer, the number 20, or an orchestral piece. It's a burden of being so old. In the last century, we contextualized stuff. The premise of this app rather appealed to Monty. He had been after a promotion forever, and being pansexual, as all good protagonists are in stories these days, he felt that looking good in the kitchen was certainly a life goal. Huh? What? Hey, the kitchen? That's where I keep mine. What? It doesn't mean... So not pan as in pots and pans? Oh, you mean... like everyone? The person, not the... like non-binary people. Ah, I see. Boris Johnson. So, apparently, being born in the 20th century is now officially a war crime. Sorry, a trigger warning. A war crime against humanity. I'm beginning to think podcasting was not the best idea. Being pansexual, Monty loved this idea. If you cannot get to use the aubergine droplets emojis when you're keeping your options that wide open, then... sad face. Droplets emojis. The only catch of the app was that you had to take off all your clothes whilst streaming. At my age, that's a recipe for ruined carpets. Monty did think this was a little off, but the app sounded dank, so he went for it. Dank? Isn't that moist? Oh, forget it. I have literally no idea. The next morning, Monty was due to be Zooming with his boss and several members of the company board, so he decided to try out the app. Okay, we all know where this is going. He fired up the laptop, prepared himself by stripping completely naked and positioned himself in front of the camera. Insert photography joke here, ... fully exposed. Oh, I would have said, so you could see his aperture. He looked resplendent on screen, a Hemsworth-esque hunk of godlike proportions. He was so stunning, they were sure to give him a promotion, maybe even a share in the company. As Monty was brought into the meeting, he marvelled at his boss, all the board members, several of his colleagues, and even an apprentice suddenly looked stunned by his beauty. He smouldered, tilting his head and fizzing for the camera. Monty surveyed the ocean of open-jawed, wide-eyed faces, ravenous for his goods with shark-like hunger. Promotion, check. Company shares, check. Monty, you're a genius, he thought to himself. They were all speechless until the apprentice unmuted their mic and asked in a timid voice, "Monty, is that supposed to be a glory hole?" Okay, enough. I'm not reading that out loud. They got the message and a mental image they never thought they'd have at the beginning of this diatribe. The moral of this tale is, people will try to sell you the next best thing online. Things that make you look better, smarter, more attractive, a greater presenter. They'll gimmick your wallet open for the next gimmick and lube you up with snake oil until you're begging them to give you the biggest, girthiest answers you need to succeed. But stop! When you are up front and centre, with all eyes firmly focused on you, don't be a dick. The end. Please like, subscribe, and if you want to know more, discover how to captivate, entertain, and immerse your audience through digital media with Ges Ray at speedforperformance.online. Ges Ray's Happy Endings was created by Ges Ray and Martin Pentecost. Presented by Ges Ray, copyright 2022, an Empower Publishing production.